Hey, what's up, people, and welcome back. UTV, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. UVVTV is back on the air. That's our first show of 2023 season, and of course, you are watching. And Your Point Is. And Your Point Is a conversational show where we have debates. We also interview people with interesting situations that you might be interested in, and might be something that could work in on your behalf. You really need to check this out. This is a very special show we got today. Before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know the UVB TV schedule is going to be off the chain this year. We got the lineup. We start out with, of course, this show, And Your Point Is. Then on Wednesdays is Unvaccinated Voices. Thursday, Just the Burst, our #1 rated show, is back on Thursdays, 8 o'clock. On Sunday, it's the Sunday Jazz Brunch, powered by YouTube. And, of course, we're going to have the Comedy Corner. And that's going to be more than just dudes doing comedy. You're going to get into the minds of a lot of these people. A new show, The Hintons, with John C. Hinton and his wife. You don't want to miss that. Eddie Clark's NASCAR Minute. You guys been asking for it. It's back. Plus a little something special we're going to call Eddie Clark's NASCAR Minute Plus. Now, to get that, you have to subscribe on UVVTV. That's right. You go on YouTube, UVVTV. That's in parentheses, because if not, you're going to get some crazy site that you ain't gonna know where the hell you at, and you're gonna say, where's Eddie Clark? And then you might look at that and say, this is a lot better, and you might stay there. So UVV TV, don't forget, on YouTube, and like us on Facebook, and we'll be expanding some other stuff. And I promise you, as always, we keep it real. Tonight, you're watching And Your Point Is. We got a very special guest tonight. This guy, I have known this guy since he was a kid. I was real good friends with his father, and his father, I can say, are brothers, because we both used to be on the job. But the guys don't know what the job is. That's the police department. And he ended up opening some clubs, doing some other things. I ended up working with him. Good guy. Unfortunately, we lost him a few years ago. But you know what? You're going to get to meet a guy he's a chip off the old block. It's his son, Ray Garvey Jr. is with us tonight. What's up, Ray? How you doing, man?
What's good, Eddie? I want to just tie in a little intro. What's going on there, fans and subscribers? Welcome back to UVVTV. His name's Eddie Clark. He said you talk again, and guess what? In 3, 2, 1, you will. Sorry, I had to. It's something I do, bro. I'm an asshole.
Love it. I love it, man. I love it. All right. Hey, first of all, a lot of people, there's a lot of comics that be checking us out. They know, but a lot of regular people that's watching this, particularly brothers and sisters are watching out here. You're probably wondering, why am I starting off our first show of Black History Month with a white boy? Well, you know what? He ain't just any white boy. It's Ray Garvey Jr. Ray, tell people about yourself, man.
So my name is Ray Garvey Jr. I've known Eddie Clark probably since I'm about 10 years old. My dad took over and operated the famous Pips Comedy Club in Brooklyn. Elaine Boozler, Jimmy Walker, Jay Leno, the likes of, anyone, Rodney Dangerfield, they all came through Pips Comedy Club. And from the time I was 10 to I was about 15, I got to grow up and meet some of who would become to be incredible entertainers and later to become incredible friends and mentors. Eddie and I, it's funny, you said dad's gone a couple of years. It's 13 years this April, bro. 13 years he's gone.
I know. Yeah.
And my dad was a cop. All these guys, I was baptized on the stage at Pips Comedy Club. And right now, as we get into the interview a little bit, I'm going to let everybody know, especially the single moms and the Black and the Latino and the underprivileged communities, what it is that I do, what it is I set out to prevent, and what it is I set out to do to raise awareness. And I'm pretty sure if you could suspend some of your prejudice and disbelief just for the next 25, 30 minutes, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to win you over onto my cause by the end of this talk.
And believe me, folks, this is something you definitely want to get into. Let's start out by just showing you guys what Ray has been up to. Check this out. 3, 2, 1. All right, Ray. Explain what's going on.
So there was a show in the mid-2000s, right? Chris Hansen, white guy in a turtleneck, really scripted answers, didn't do any of his own investigative work, turned out to be maybe not the greatest guy on the planet, but he laid the framework for a show called To Catch a Predator. And, Eddie, you're old enough, I'm just old enough, where there might have been a pedophile in town, a creepy dude in a white van, everybody knew. right now behind, and it's not just chat rooms anymore. It's social media platforms. It's disappearing messages upon Snapchat. It's disappearing messages on Instagram, even on things like Xbox Live and Roblox. These are becoming information superhighways, not only to groom and sexually abuse children, but also to disseminate child pornography. So what I do, what I set out in a non-law enforcement capacity is, I don't know, these guys get to be cowards, right? They get to hide in the dark and do their bastardly deeds. So me and a couple of people that I'm affiliated with, we set up decoy accounts on different social media platforms, different video game networks. I'm not going to give away all those secrets just because, you know, we have to have the upper hand against the dark hand of evil that is, you know, pedophilia. And we set up investigations, interrogations, exposures in certain jurisdictions. We have the opportunity to work with law enforcement and have these men and sometimes women arrested on site, and more often than not convicted and placed on the registered sex offender list. And ICAC, Internet Crimes Against Children, you know, if you look at estimates, it's anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000 to set up a sting to catch one pedophile. Me and my friends can do it for a tank of 87 unleaded and a 4-pack of Red Bull, bro.
Yo, when you're going through this, there's a couple of questions run through my mind, and I'm sure a lot of you folks have questions about this too, and hopefully I'll be able to address a lot of them. First thing is, isn't this dangerous?
I mean, dude, I grew up in Brooklyn in the 90s. We would, you know, we get in fights. Everybody dated different types of people. We all engage in dangerous behaviors. Most of the time, they're self-seeking and self-satisfying. You know, I'm a Catholic dude. I'm a Christian guy, and you know, with half the shit that I got myself into in my first 30-something years, if this is the way that I'm going to go out, I'm pretty sure that Jesus up there is going to be cool with it. So I mean, fuck yeah, it's dangerous, dude. We have no idea where we're going. We have no idea who we're meeting. You know, they have the upper hand. Typically, they see us coming, but on the back end, you know, what type of a man tries to engage in sexual activity with a child? Not much of a man. So 95% of the time, these are like the softer than baby shit. Fucking sorry. Do we curse here or no? What's the?
No, hey, man. And your point is.
and my point is, most of the time, these dudes, they're not about to tussle, and they're so shy. Like you watch it, they're a deer in the headlights. They can't believe what's going on. But I mean, yeah, you always want to be ready for that 1 in 1,000 chance. You know, one group out of Ohio, the guy brought a gun. Another group tried to kidnap somebody, but you know, for the most part, I got a rule, right? I don't do it solo. So
there's, you know, I'm watching, especially the way you talk to people, and you folks will see this in some of these other videos. You have guys that I've seen that you rolled up on. Some of these guys are not punks. I mean, they're not like little, you know, frail little guys. I mean, you know, and not that you're not. And I was going to point out, you're not a small guy yourself. But at the end of the day, some guys, you know, just aren't willing to, you know, to give in. You know, so my question is, when you have these individuals that are in there, they come off like they're shocked at first. And then the next thing you see is you could see what they're looking like, you know, what the hell, man? You know what I'm saying? Where do you get it to be able to talk to people in a way you disarm them so quickly? I guess that's my point. You disarm them because, if, you know, me as a man, you walk up on me, no matter what the situation is, chances are, you know, my ego's going to take over somewhere down the line. But it's almost like you snatch their dicks off,
Eddie Clark, I'm going to stop you right there, sir. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set an example of what's called establishing dominance. I'm going to speak to you in a tone that is reminiscent of when you were in junior high and somebody from an authoritative position spoke over you, gave you that feeling where your asshole gets cold, and you're just really hoping that mom and dad don't find out. It's mental kung fu, bro.
That's what I ask you. I mean, because like I say, that one guy, the guy with the ponytail, what was the nickname you gave him?
Oh, Stevie Ray Seagal, like it, or no, Billy Ray Seagal. Billy Ray Seagal.
Yeah. Because he came off at first, like for half a second, and like he was about to, you know, what's up? And then you started talking to him, man, and it's like, and even in this one video I saw where you were talking to this one guy, you said, look, we deal with people like, the situation and whatnot. Yeah, we're familiar with police departments, whatever. You probably end up, we got information, get you arrested already. You know what I'm saying? I mean, is it that talking like that makes them suddenly realize might as well just go along with the program? Or
like I said, you got what do they say? You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So like when I came on the podcast tonight, right? The first thing that I did to grab the attention of all the lovely African-American kings and queens was I did the fucking lead in for Eddie Clark. I had the ball, like when I did that Ricky Smiley shit, I had the balls to come in there and be like, welcome back to UVVT, coming to the main stage. So that's what I'm saying, man. You got 2 seconds to grab somebody's attention. Like we live, back when me and you were kids, you had network TV, then cable. You could only cycle through the channel so many times. Now with YouTube, like if you don't get somebody in lickety split, you lost them. So what I do is if you watch, I pepper them and I set a pace with my interrogation that even if they're trying to spin a story, I don't give any gaps in my words to allow them to even try to gather their thoughts to give back to me something that would even vaguely resemble bullshit.
Have you ever had anyone that actually jumped? That actually went for it? Just like, hey, man, fuck, I'm going to bust your ass.
No, but we did have a dude that sent a picture to our decoy looking like Chadwick Boseman and fucking Morgan Freeman. And Morgan Freeman showed up, bro. This was like he sent a picture of Taye Diggs, like shirtless, muscular, handsome black dude. And all of a sudden, the guy showed up in the parking lot, and it's Morgan Freeman, bro. It's like Ernie. It's Ernie Davis now, not Ernie Davis from fucking Ghostbusters, man. And this dude, fucking, when we went to expose him, he drove up over like a parking barrier, almost clipped 2 cars, pulled out in Orlando on I-Drive. It's like an 8-lane intersection. Like, and that was like when we first started, and I was like, oh shit, this is bad. And then we had another time, a kid, we had a decoy that was actually in person, right? So this kid, we corresponded via the app, and he was corresponding in perfect English when we were chatting on the app. So when he comes out to talk to the decoy, me and my cameraman run outside to expose him. And, he starts out with the, lo siento, pero no se habla inglés. And I, like on YouTube Live in front of a couple hundred people, if not 1,000, I was like, no estoy problema este momento porque yo tengo comprensión suficiente por nuestra interrogación a qué hora, esta hora.
Which means?
I said, don't worry about it. I got comprehension sufficient enough to take care of this interrogation right now, bro. Why, like, porque es un mentiroso? I'm like, why are you lying, bro? Stop capping. And that's when YouTube figured out that I spoke Spanish. People started wilding out on that one. They were like, what the fuck? They're like, you're the whitest dude on the planet, bro. And I don't know. I like making people feel dumb and proving them wrong, Eddie. I feel like you might know something about that, sir.
On occasion. Let me ask something.
Yeah.
In the words of Cleavon Little, talking to Gene Wilder in Blazing Saddles, I asked this question. What's a dazzling white urbanite like yourself going after those that are perpetrating this nonsense in the hood?
I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna say this to my people. I'm gonna say this to your people, and you are my people. But you know what I mean when I say, like, what do you mean, What do you mean, you people? Anybody that politicizes children or sees a racial divide amongst them, I know that you're the proud father to 2 beautiful young biracial babies. If the 7th ring of hell is set for those that are pedophiles, the 4th, 5th, and 6th are reserved for those that use children as cannon fodder. As every year that we sit on the planet, we bring on more and more shit in our shoulders, and more resentment and blind hatred and, unrealized dreams and unrealized potential. A 9-year-old black kid, Japanese kid, white kid, Norwegian kid, Canadian kid, they all deserve the opportunity to grow up and have healthy relationships. And I'm not going to sit by when I have a little bit of a platform and the opportunity to prevent some of that. That's so you're asking me, like, why with the black, like, look at the neighborhoods that are most often exploited. Like, what's the rate of single motherhood in the black community, Ed?
It's high.
68%. Is that like kind of what I'm seeing out there?
Yeah. Nowadays, yeah, it's still probably in the 60s. Yeah.
So let's say it's creeping up on 70. That single black mom that's living in fucking Ozone Park or some shit, she's working at, maybe she's going to nursing school at night. Maybe she's working as a CNA during the day, just desperately trying to raise, Tayshawn and Craig. I don't know what the fuck. Whatever the name is. I know it's Tayshaun Prince. Fucking, I could have said like Daquan and fucking Dikembe. You know, I'm gonna do that the next time somebody tries to touch a kid. No.
No.
So like those type of kids, like, yeah, no. He died, by the way. Rest in peace, Dikembe.
Yeah.
So what I kind of set out to do is, like, if you go to West Virginia and you see like these like single white moms, like, you know, husband started doing a meth bender, he's doing fucking 7 years upstate. It's not a race thing, it's a class thing, just like the movie Bulworth. And unfortunately, like in those black communities, you know, that single motherhood rate, you know, the kids that have the least amount of supervision are going to be the most likely to be exploited. And you got to remember that, like, what I do is I stop crimes that are fictitious, right? There's not an actual victim. Like, we're sitting out there trying to catch people. Think about how many kids suffer in silence. Think about how many kids have been touched and don't have the courage, the fortitude, or, you know, even the positive role model that they feel comfortable with to share that they've been assaulted. And I say me, right? There's a big community. There's a shit ton of people that help out with this. I want to make it to the point so that even if you are a pedophile, the second that you go online, the second that you check out an app or see someone that reaches back and says that they're 12 or 13 years old, I want you to fucking shit your pants and think that it's one of us. Like, I want those people to hide under a rock and go die a fucking quiet, silent death.
Yeah. Let me ask you, I look at your staff. How many people more or less do you have, and what exactly do they do?
So there, all the organizations work independently, right? There's a couple of big ones in California, like Predator Poachers, PCI, PCM, PPMAS, that's Predator Poachers Massachusetts, Web Pet Patrol. I don't want to like Arizona Predator Prevention, Colorado Creep Control. Like, there's literally all these independents, and there's a couple of like key figures in the background. So when I got the one kid named Grant, when I knocked on the door and he refused to come out, if you remember, I said his first, middle, last name, date of birth, prior residence, all the convictions that he had. I had this motherfucker dead to rights. So there was nowhere left for him to hide. There was no story left to spin. Yeah. Like, he was like, bro, welcome to the internet, Grant. And that's what I'm saying. Like, they're running background checks. They pay for access to everything. And I don't want to get, like, again, I'm not going to give away some of the shit that we use.
Right. Of course not.
But when I get an email or a phone number, there's people out there that are technologically sophisticated enough. They can find out addresses, prior addresses, familial relations, country of origin, like citizenship status, criminal record. This way we know if somebody's a concealed weapons holder, somebody's convicted like a violent felon. We know if they're already on the registered sex offender list. We know if they live with children currently. And then they have decoys around the country that their only job, they'll set up like virtual profiles in different areas. And they'll have 100, 200, 300 conversations ongoing with potential groomers all around the country. And then they'll give that, we call them a catch. They'll give that catch to somebody who resides, you know, within 2-3 hours of that area. And that's when we set up the meet.
There's one thing that I've often wondered with people that do what you're doing. And by the way, I give you a lot of credit, man. Because a lot of people, there are people that politicize things like this. And it's with that in mind, I want to ask you this. Have you ever gotten pushback from any type of elected official for what you're doing?
Yeah, DAs, liberal DAs specifically.
Really?
They want to move away from the term pedophile, and they want to start referring to them as MAPs, minor attracted persons.
Excuse me?
Out there. I'm sorry, you're not.
They want to kill the word. You said they want to kill the word pedophile.
They want to get rid of the word pedophile, and they want to now refer to them as MAPs, minor attracted persons. In the words of our dear beloved George Carlin, that euphemistic language.
Oh man, and these aren't appointed DAs; these are elected DAs.
Well, I mean, a lot of DAs run unopposed in smaller counties, but yeah, I mean, I'll send you the link. Like, I've put in I've made phone calls to certain DAs saying that I was from a media outlet, like searching for a reason why certain DAs won't even take the case. Like, they refuse to let cops respond because they're afraid of the backlash. I'm telling you, man, like, not a traditional Democrat, but like that ultra modern woke liberal shit, like Cali, Seattle type stuff. They consider like a dislike for pedophiles to be the same as a dislike for homosexuals. Like, they basically say that we're being prejudiced and we're being hateful.
I don't think most in the LGBTQ community are racing to embrace pedophiles.
Those are the people that I feel the worst, man. I feel like they get politicized and they get brought into anytime like a marginalized group gets used as a political pawn, especially when they're unaware of it. It's fucking depressing. But yeah, that's there's no I mean, I'd say it's probably like a pretty even split of like what kind of people I catch as far as like being pedophiles, like Republican, Democrat, white, black, Latino. They look like you, they look like me. People say, what do they look like? The answer is they look like everyone and nobody at the same time. There's no consistent pattern.
When you because you said you can't, law enforcement, they'll come in, and there's one case in particular, video, cops got the guy, the cops grabbed him. Have you gotten any pushback from police officers when it came down to this?
So I got lucky, right? Like being born into the world that I got born into. Like I had no choice but to become an effective communicator because of the people that were in my circle. If I'm going to get a word in with Eddie Clark, Jim Delakis, Ray Garvey, and Jim Norton, like you better have something to say and you better say it correct. I think a lot of times it comes in the approach. So usually my interaction with law enforcement has been phenomenal, but I know that there's people that are like less media trained or maybe less, and that's where I kind of become a little bit of a bitch. Is like I'm willing to put the ego aside and let a cop with a big ego, like, y'all got to realize this is dangerous for you. I'm like, dude, you're not ICAC, like you don't know, like you're not doing anything anyway. So sometimes you just got to sometimes you have to pay homage for the greater good, and I think that's why I've been lucky enough to have a positive relationship with the law enforcement that I have dealt with.
And I understand now, because you're down in Florida, but I understand now.
I'm in the Carolinas now.
Well, you're in the Carolinas. I beg your pardon. You're not Carolinas, but I understand now you're going to spread this to other states now, man. You're going after everybody. There's the gloves have come off.
Buddy, I'm not going after like there's groups all around the country, but there's somebody that I met that wants to do I guess you can call it like a documentary film style adaptation of this. And there's guys out there that have 200 plus pedophile exposures. This dude Alex, this guy PvP, this kid Jay, this kid Ghost, this guy Cam. One of my favorite people, like since you are like a predominantly black space, loser and county predator catcher, that's Musa Harris, MUSA. He got arrested for get this, man. This is he got arrested, I think, in Irvington, New Jersey. He might have been in Patterson. I forget where he was, but he got arrested exposing a pedophile. Cops just decided to arrest him. So the first weekend that I went out, misuse of emergency services.
Wow.
I don't know. The cop was 100% ego, bro. The cop was on an ego trip. Give me 1 second. Wow. I'm not dipping out. I'm still here. I'm just trying to put the dog to quiet. So the Musa Harris, this dude, he gets arrested, and I had a podcast in this space at the time, right? The show was called White Guy Wednesday. And bro, Musa was a co-host. He's like, we just, me, like we always like to have fun and poke fun at the shit that everybody takes so seriously.
Yeah.
And that weekend I went out and caught 4 pedophiles, introducing myself as Musa. Because Musa was the guy that caught like 3-4 people every weekend. And his first thing, he'd look at you like, yo, let me inform you on something. Yo, I'm about to inform you on something. And so I told one kid that I caught that I was here on behalf of the Musa Foundation. But yeah, I mean, there's pedophile hunters, there's predator hunters that have been arrested, there's predator hunters that have been extorted, there's predator hunters that have been physically assaulted. I've been super fortunate and super lucky that none of that happens to be my truth to this point. There's always a tomorrow, but yeah, man, just that fucking quick wit and that sharp tongue, that sharp mind. Always, you remember that thing too? Every time they looked away, I always said, "Sir, I'd appreciate if you maintain eye contact with me while we engage in this dialogue."
That was that first guy. Yeah, he every time that would look, make sure once a guy gets us the high school teacher thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make you like the principal did. You gotta pay attention to me, young man. Yeah, it's the way you manipulate words, and if I can say this without sounding like I'm bragging, we're comedians. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the way you manipulate the words is masterful. And you actually get these guys to do things that I would have to use hands to get somebody to do it. You get to do it just by using your tongue, and that's crazy,
dude. Every single time, like you've watched a bunch that I sent to you. Like they'll lie. They'll at the end of it, I'm like, so is it safe to assume that you were here tonight to engage in sex with a 13-year-old boy? And they just look at the camera and go, yes. Like that's the moment where you're like, checkmate. You know, that's when the king falls. And I tell the guys all the time, I don't hate you. I'm not here to judge you. I hate the fuck out of what you did. And yeah, there's a dude in Queens named FM. He's a Latino guy. He's a street dude. Moose is like, so we were kind of talking about who's protecting these kids in like minority spaces. You got Musa, you got FM. There's this kid, Eric, PCI, that's Predator Catchers, Indiana. He's a black dude. Skeeter Jeans, another guy from the Midwest out there. They got females that do this too. They got Sabrina, they got Courtney, they got Shonda. It's, you know, the predators and the pedophiles look like everyone and no one at the same time. The catchers look like everyone and no one. And it's one of the few things, like the space on YouTube isn't that big, right? Like we talked, do you mind if I talk briefly about what YouTube's doing to us?
No, please go ahead.
So these channels, I sent Eddie a link last week. He went to look it up today so we could have some B-roll footage while we're doing our little spiel here. And tell the people what happened when you clicked on the link, Eddie.
When I clicked on the link, it came up that the information went against YouTube's policy of bullying. So right. Apparently they were calling you going after pedophile bullying.
Yeah, that's when I wasn't joking, man. There's it's funny, man. You know, my dad, I was a Democrat forever. Me and you kind of we chop it up a little bit on that libertarian. I'm a non-woke Democrat. That's what I am. You know what I mean? Like that's
I'm gonna have you back to talk about the libertarian thing too.
We'll talk one day. And like what I realized too is the reason I removed myself from, like, if I tell a conservative joke, I'm a conservative comic. If I tell I wanted to get as far away from politics as I possibly could, because I've never heard anybody on their deathbed saying, I wish I argued more about AOC or Ben Shapiro. But I tell you what, man, if I woke up tomorrow and I was 83 and someone's like, yo, you helped give closure to sexual assault victims and you prevented people from harming kids. If I had to choose between that and political debate on my deathbed, it's not even an argument. So that's what I did is I just decided, like, remember my dad used to say, make everything matter.
Make everything matter. That
was a Ray Garvey mantra. And, you know, it's like most people like the way I do it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And I get that. Not everybody. You know, it's funny. I was telling you today, like on YouTube, it's like you cannot read the comments, man, because people call me racist. They call me fucking xenophobic. I think some people just, and I don't even think they mean it when I say it, like they troll for the sheer sake of trying to elicit a reaction. And the funny thing is Johnny Carson, Conan O'Brien, I almost said Deion Sanders. What's this dude's name? Arsenio Hall.
Deion Sanders.
Bro, I'm on the Eddie Clark show. I got to remember there was at least one nighttime black fucking TV show host. Jesus Christ. He was only on for 2 seasons, but he tried to come back and they said, no, Arsenio, you stay. Yo, he did good in fucking Coming to America too, though.
Yeah, he tried to come back, and the only thing what hurt him was the fact that immediately people started leaving the other shows to check out what he was doing because people have good memories.
But I'm saying, like, none of those guys, like when they did their 1 hour, 5 nights a week, they didn't have to read through 30,000 comments. You know, think about that now. Everybody has a direct line of communication to the content creator that they subscribe to.
That's right,
bro. When me and you were young, if we wanted to talk to Ricky Lake, like we don't have a vehicle to contact. Who's the lady with the glass? Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yep.
Jerry Springer, fucking not Montel Jordan. What's his name? Montel Williams. Montel Jordan either, for that matter. But yeah, and that's that's where, you know, that space is. I speak for victims in that space. Like a lot of people love to expose pedophiles. My favorite thing about what I do is maybe there's a small chance that somebody who's, how old are you now, Eddie?
I'm 66.
There might be somebody who is 66 that was touched when they were 9, 10, 11, 12, that scar never quite healed up. And every time they see one of the, like, I try to be the person that every single one of those kids needed. And obviously I can't I can't fix the mistakes of the past, but
yeah. And
I've had people that are in their 50s and 60s reach out and they're like, that's exactly what it does. It gives me a monicum of closure. You know, and it's something, like I said, it unifies most people, bro. Like, You know, this is going to air during Black History Month. And I'm pretty sure that by this point in the conversation, because these people are going to be watching live at this moment, about 17 minutes ago, you probably forgot the fact that you were talking to a white guy. Like, they're going to forget that this was even a biracial podcast.
Exactly.
Because we're focusing on children. Like, that's like, you remember Trick Daddy?
Yep.
Bro, for the kids. That's
it. Do it
and
all for
yeah,
the kids.
I've got some dreams and aspirations, like a way that I want to bring. So with you, that's me and you. We know each other too well. We fucking go off on tangents. So YouTube, because of that West Coast, like, woke liberal who hijacked decent Democrats, you can have drag show story time. They can have teachers that talk to children about the differences between like dildos and real people. Like, this is real stuff, bro. Like, literally grooming videos, and none of those get taken down. But we go out there and hunt pedophiles, and YouTube strikes us.
Yeah, I found that to be more, like I said, it caught me off guard because I actually made me start thinking in my head, because I've watched it 3 times. That particular one I watched 3 times. And I started thinking in my head, so where's the bullying coming in? And I'm thinking, did this guy say something to Ray? You know? And then it dawned on me. I said, wait a minute. They're talking about the way you were talking to him, and it wasn't a bully deal because I distinctly, as you folks saw, they could have left. They could have said, you could leave, get out of my house, whatever. They were like, sit down. You know, let me tell you, I messed up.
At every interrogation, I'll literally say, I said, do you feel that you're in any imminent harm? Do you feel any threat of bodily injury to you at all? Have I treated you like a human being to this point? Like, I let them know that I can be stern, I can be assertive, but I don't have to be aggressive. And part of that comes with being a bigger dude. You know what I mean? Like, there's some guys in the space that aren't quite, stout like that. And, you saw the one guy kind of sizing up my buddy who I was doing. He looked over there and then he looked at me and he's like, nah, not today, Satan. Yeah. I love what I do, man. I love what I do. And it's like, we kind of have to laugh about it because, like, at that one time I just did it in South Carolina, we got 3 guys in like 21 hours. And I tell you what, man, like, there is an evil hangover that stays on you for that. Like, something like it's tough to shake, man. Like, you spend too much time. You swim with, what is it? You swim with pigs, you're going to get muddy.
That's right.
So, I mean, there's we have a whole space in that community where we kind of joke and laugh and, we have some fun, but, as long as the groups as a whole are exposing, Jesus,
well,
500 to it.
That's like being a cop, man. I mean, you'd come up on a really bad scene, something that's just so horrific, and people have seen cops get off in the corner. I've done it myself. Got in the corner, you're laughing and kind of joking, smoking a cigarette, and deep down you're but to keep you from going crazy, you joke about it. It's a weird dynamic that some people understand, but as bad as it is for me to watch someone that's been murdered or something like that, for you to know that, the chances are the person you caught has done this before. So you, to a certain degree, you have to think about the fact, how many other people has this guy gotten before I got to this guy? You know what I'm saying? And that's got to be a hard thing to kind of, I mean, you're doing good, but at the same time, that's got to be hard to swallow too.
So you ever see that picture where all the guys are eating lunch up on the I-beam, like 300, 400, 500 feet up in the air?
Back in the day,
like the first day you're up there, it's terrifying. The second day, it's scary. After a certain point of time, like that, those stresses that come on, it's, bro, doing stand-up, right? The first time I was in the wings waiting to go up, I couldn't get my hand to steady. The 10th time, you got to be on stage 100 times before you can even work on your material. It takes 100 sets on stage just to work on how to stand in front of a fucking microphone while people are watching. So that's like, and that laughter after the end of it is, like when I come up to Jersey and PA, you're going to come on me with one and you're going to be amped up and I'm going to be playing Candy Crush or some dumb shit on my phone too. And you're like, Ray, you're not nervous? And I'm like, it's not that I'm not nervous. I'm desensitized.
Yeah. And that's got, like I said, that's got to be hard to do, especially when you, like I said, because I know you're feeling about kids and like I said, not too many people would take the time to do what you're doing, especially considering the amount it happens in minority communities and low-income communities where no one is talking about it. I have yet to ever see a politician ever step and say, hey, by the way, we're going to also take care of the pedophiles in your neighborhood. What they say is, hey, here's some free cheese and some milk. Here's some eggs. You know what I'm saying? But how about break a couple eggs, man, on the situation we got that's going on, and as little as people may want to think about it, it's prevalent in a lot of these low-income communities. This goes on. This absolutely goes on. So, I mean, the fact that somebody's got the balls to step up and do what you're doing, man, you're getting full applause from me, bro, because me personally, and the patience you do it, I'd be in jail by now.
Bro,
First guy, I'd be in jail.
I was doing a catch down in Florida with a couple of guys a couple of years back, and we were trying to expose somebody, and this group of like 8 dudes, right? They get out of 2 Chevy Caprices on dubs, right? Like you've seen Florida black dudes, like gold teeth, 3-6 Mafia basically jumped out of the car. And we were running around with cameras, and there was a little bit. Did I lose you, Ed? Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. So as we get out of the car, like we got cameras, they're looking around, and you could tell they're sizing us up, and they're like, yo, bro, like what to do, cuz? What you coming over here with the camera and shit now for? And we were like, yo, we do this to catch a predator stuff. We're trying to expose somebody looking to fuck a kid. And every single one of these, like, thugged out dudes were like, yo, say less, son, bet we with you. And they start running with us. So I got like, it's me, this fucking white, super tall fucking white guy and a little Latino dude, and the entire 3-6 Mafia and the Locks sprinting behind us. Remember the song Breakfast at Tiffany's back in the day?
Yeah.
Bro, that's like, we've got nothing in common. What about breakfast? That's the one thing we've got is I realized, man, in the wake of like political divide, racial divide, socioeconomic divide, I don't want to waste any more time focusing on the things that keep us separate. And this is it's something I'm good at.
Abuse of kids is a great uniter. I mean, preventing the abuse of kids, that's the great uniter, man. Believe me, because you find somebody that hesitates on supporting something like that. That's my next person I'm looking at. That's just me.
Yeah, and that's and you know what's funny, man? A lot of the dudes in the space, like they come from, not a lot of Ivy League education. A lot of them are broken people that get us that gets them into my community in the first place. And are you a Christian, Eddie, or no? You're Jewish.
I'm a Jew. Yeah.
Oh, are you a Jew for Jesus or like a real Jew?
I'm a Jew.
Okay. In my book, right, in the Christian book, there's this dude with long hair. The whole book's pretty much about him. And he loves hookers and lepers. Those are kind of his favorite people. And, I don't know, in the last 3, 4, 5 years, the idea of have a servant's heart, true character is defined by what you do for those who could do nothing for you.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, if
exactly.
if I get a chance to talk to fucking Charlemagne or Ricky Smiley or some shit like that, those guys can put me on. Like, those are guys that I need them way more than they need me. But, somebody that hits me up on the DMs at 12:30 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, and they're saying, hey, man, I just want to let you know what you do means a lot. And I wind up having a 20-minute conversation. And I do have a lot of private conversations with fans. I don't know. This community made me a better person, made me think of myself less, made me think of other people more, which is probably something we can all afford to do as a whole.
Well, I got to tell you on that, man, you're doing God's work, bro. I'm telling you right now, you're doing God's work, and you get all respect in the world from me for it. I cannot thank you enough for actually doing this, especially on the first day of Black History Month, our first show. It was important. I know you, I know your family, I know your pops, your background, and I think a lot of people, like you said, in the first 15 minutes, everybody kind of forget that you have to go in the sun for your tan. You know what I'm saying? So I got nothing but love for you, bro. You know that. His name is Ray Garvey Jr. He's out there doing work for you.
30 seconds right now. If you're a single mom out there, fuck it. If you're a parent out there, Roblox is probably one of the biggest thing that they use to disseminate child pornography right now. Xbox Live, people on the microphone, even cell phones. Like if your kid's not old enough, like don't give them unlimited, unrestricted access to the internet. And if they do, make sure that you got passwords to their apps and periodically, check on who they're talking to. Because I'm telling you right now, if you have a 13-year-old daughter, there's a good chance that there's about 50, 60 unresponded messages in the DMs from people out there. And if you get in contact with someone like us, we can cross-reference who else they follow, see if they follow a shit ton of minor females. And yeah, man, it's like in the digital space, I know that the iPad is an easy way to babysit the kids when you're busy, you want to make dinner and you want to be on the phone. But I'm telling you right now, there's no rest for the wicked. And You know, if your child has unrestricted access to the internet, that means pedophiles and sexual predators have unrestricted access to your children. So, you know, with that, I'm sure his name's Eddie Clark, and we'll talk again.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ray. We appreciate you. You guys have been checking out my man Ray Garvey Jr., and I promise you guys will be hearing more about what he's doing and what's going on. When that documentary comes out, man, I hope I can get permission to actually put it up on this site so people can actually check it out. You've been watching, listen to Ray Garvey Jr. and guys doing God's work. This is And Your Point Is. In a couple of minutes, we're going to do two things. First of all, I want you guys to check out this. This is another one of Ray Garvey's captures. You're going to love what you're about to see right now. And then after that, I'll be back with And My Point Is. Thanks a lot, guys. Ray, love you, man. Appreciate you.
Always, brother.
All right. Yo, before you go, man, we're out right now, but let me just take this